Good day, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's good to have you guys back after a very long break. This is Leoman Alterations Fashion Novella. Yes, today we'll be talking about how to take like the accurate measurement for your men's caftan shirt. You know, when we talk about caftan, it comprises of the shirt and the pant. But you know, in this particular video, I'll be talking with us about how to take detailed measurements of your caftan shirt. So come with me now. Going about the measurements now, let's say our caftan shirt will have overall length. You know, that is length for the caftan. Let's write it in full then. Length. They will have the body or the bust. We'll have our chest. We'll have the shoulder. We'll have the back, our long sleeve. We'll have the shorts, then our 3/4. We'll have our bicep, the elbow, and the, let's say, mouth sleeve. Now we'll have our neckline. Yes, and I guess that's all we need. In some cases, when we're doing, okay, this is caftan now, so this is exactly what we need. So now, talking about taking your caftan measurement, having or deriving as a very good or the best caftan project. Now, the very first stage, you know, where we need to be very careful is in taking the measurement. Once we take a bad or a wrong measurement on our client or on our prospective client, of course, that means, you know, the caftan we're about to make is beginning to have issues. You understand? So that is, we won't be having that fitting we want. But when we have our measurements taken very correctly, you know, then we'll be having the exact fitting we want. Now we'll start with the length. Now let's check out for your length. Now, so in measuring for your length, you have to put your tape rule here, right on the shoulder, right behind the neck here. So you shouldn't measure. You want to measure your neckline. Sorry, your length. You shouldn't put your tape rule here, somewhere around here. It should be here, because when we are determining our length, we should measure from here. And you know, our caftan, the neck, like the shoulder, is always slanted, not straight. So that's why we need to measure from here. So when we're measuring, we have our tape rule here now. The tape rule needs to go over the breast point or something. Then it will go down straight to our desired length. So that's not so difficult. Our desired length, if you want 33, if you want 36, you know, just make sure you put your tape rule right here. I hope you can see that very well. Right here, and you know, over the breast point down to our desired length. And that's for the length now. So let's say we have length 34. So I guess 34 is not bad. Yes, 34. So now measuring for the bust or the body. Okay. You need to bring, that will be the circumference of the whole body, or like the upper body right below the arms. Now that will be right below the arms, or let's say below the armpits. Now that's where to measure for the body or the bust. So we need to consider, you know, the like freedom, and also we need to consider how smart it will be. So you need to check down, because we are making caftan now. I'm not measuring for my waist or my hip line, but nonetheless I still need to bring down my tape rule now. As it is held this way, I need to bring it down. You know, to check if there is enough like free passage for the for the tape rule or for the cloth, the project itself, to go through the chest down to the waist and to the tummy here. So now I guess for this person, 43 is just too much. So let's say 42 isn't bad. Depends on your client's choice anyways, but 42 isn't so bad. So let's go for 42. Yeah, so after that, we'll be going for our chest now. So the chest to be, we'll pull our tape rule over the breast point from one arm like to the other arm. That will be from behind the armpit now. So it won't be from the, when I said arm, you don't think I'm talking about maybe probably the shoulder or something. It will be behind, like below the armpits now. So we need to check for our chest. It will be over, like over the breast point, So let's check it. So for this person, I think 15 isn't bad. Well, first thing, the main reason why we need to measure our chest for the caftan, you know, tailoring in Nigeria in those days, I'm not sure they measure for the chest. But the main reason we need to measure for our chest now is we want to derive a very relaxed project here, around here, because when the measurement of your caftan and the content of the caftan isn't so perfect, then we won't be deriving a very relaxed outfit or project around the front side of this place. So when we are measuring for the chest now, we'll be considering how smart to be and also considering freedom for it. So it won't be much freedom because we've got excess here. So that's the excess we need to take out. So for instance, if I'm using 16 for him, you can see this is the armpit now. If I'm using 16, this is obviously too much because 16 has gone beyond the armpit now. So there is no qualms when he's putting it on. Like when I'm giving him a caftan shirt with chest 15, of course there will be excesses here. Then due to that, we won't be having that relaxed result here. But for this kind of shirt, can you open the arms? All right. But we'll check the armpit now. Like this is the armpit, right? And I give him something around 15 isn't bad. You see, 15 isn't bad. So 15 is, when we use 14 now, that is getting very small. So using 14 might give him, he might get difficulty in, you know, or you might not have enough freedom in the outfit. But when we use 15, I guess 15 is very much okay for him. So we'll be going for 15 for our chest. So the shoulder, measuring for your shoulder, you need to check, you need to take your tape rule from one shoulder point to the other shoulder point, right over the upper back. Now we are measuring our shoulder. You shouldn't be measuring your shoulder like this. No, that's wrong. You should be measuring your shoulder like this or something like this. That's wrong because our shirt, the caftan shirt, the neckline will start from here, not from here. It is not some saggy neckline shirt, you understand? So this neckline will be up here. That's why we need to measure our shoulder over the upper shoulder. Now for this person, I guess his shoulder should be something around 18 and up. When we are using 19, that is getting too much. When we are using 20, that's getting too much. And with that, we won't be getting the desired fitting we require. Because when we, in determining a very good or relaxed or fitted caftan shirt, the measuring of the shoulder, aside from the chest now, measuring of the shoulder also does a lot of big deal in it. Because when you have too small, when you are giving it a very small shoulder, then there will be difficulty. It will be some sort of, the person having to shrink the shoulders like this, to be able to go in with the shirt. And when you're having too much shoulder, then that means the shoulder, the seam line here will be saggy. Then we'll be having something around here, and that will give us, that fitting we want. So kindly turn back again. So that's why we need to give it the accurate measurement. So for this person, I think 18.5 is his accurate, like exact measurement for his shoulder. to be using 18 and half. Now for the back now we need to bring down our tape rule away from the shoulder down to the back. So we are measuring for the back right below the armpit at the back, like behind. You know, when we measured for the chest, it was in front and it was below the armpit. Now it will be measuring for the back. Now it will be for the chest below the armpit at the back. So now this is 17. 17 isn't so bad, because when we're using 18 now, that is getting quite too much. So we'll have excesses at the back. So I guess 17 is very much okay for this particular person now. So our back will be 17 inches. Then we'll measure for our sleeve. Can you turn it like this? Okay. So now measuring for the sleeve now, to get a very accurate result, you need to place our tape rule right at the middle, like at the center back of the person we are taking their measurement. Now, to determine that, there's also always one bone like that. I don't know the name of the bone, but there's always one bone right at the center back of everybody. So you can also have our tape rule placed there. So we need to take it over our shoulder. You don't take it like this, because the sleeves or the shoulder or whatever isn't like this. It is always like this to get the desired results. So we'll take it, make the person you are measuring, let them have their like the sleeve very stretched. You know, yes. So 34 for him now. This depends on our desired length anyway. So but I'm doing 34 now. 34 for the long sleeve. So measuring for our short sleeves also, we'll come back like this and check for our desired short sleeved length. So I'm doing 19 for him now. 19. And for the 3/4, we'll go back to the center back. Then we'll bring down our tape rule over the shoulder down to our desired length of the. Just note that our short sleeve will be above the elbow. The 3/4 will be below the elbow before the wrist. You understand that? So I'm using 26 for him for his 3/4 now. 26 inches. Now we'll go to the bicep. So checking for his bicep, I would advise we'll measure our bicep with the right arm, because I feel the right arm is always very active compared to the left arm. Only it's always not the same when it comes to left-handed people. But for everybody, like for general, I think we should measure with the right arm now. So that checking their bicep is the circumference of the arm below, like above the elbow now. So that is checking. We need to consider the smartness and the freedom of our clients in this particular shape. So now going with this, I think I can't decide if 13 inches will be okay for him now, but he needs to do a little exercise for me. So sir, you need to help me stretch the muscle now. Okay, bring the arm up. Let's check. So you need to help me flex the muscle. Okay, that way, help me flex the muscle. All right. So I think 13 is still free. So if you want it this way, then we'll go this way. But if it's someone like me that wants it to be very smart, so we can still do 12.5, you know, for the smartness. So it depends on your preference and the client's preference. So we'll be doing 13 for him, 13 inches. So now for the elbow will be the circumference of the elbow of the arm, the elbow itself. So let's start from 14 inches down. So I can't even decide if 14 inches is okay for him, if it is too smart or too big for him. But you know, he will do a little exercise for me again. Please, you need to help me fold the arm now. Okay. Okay. I guess 14 is okay. I guess 14 is getting even tight. 14 is getting too tight. So that means in this case where 14 is getting too tight, you need to bring it back a little bit. So I guess 14.5 would be quite free, so we can, you know, get that fitting we need. So we'll be doing 14.5 for the elbow. So note, we really need to measure the elbow that way, like the way I did it. We really need our clients to fold their arm, because the main reason is, you know, these fabrics, most of them don't stretch. They are non-stretchy fabrics. So when a client says they want very smart sleeve, a very smart sleeve, and the fabric isn't stretchy, you know, and you made your caftan and your shirt or the sleeve very smart, when he wants to fold the arm, there might be difficulty and it might tend to tear, like the fabric might tend to tear from there. But when you check everywhere and, you know, you consider folding and stuff, so even if the fabric is still, like the sleeve is still smart, as such, you can still be able to fold freely, you understand? So let's go for the mouth sleeve now. So measuring for the mouth sleeve is the circumference of the sleeve around the wrist here. Okay, so if I'm doing for a caftan shirt, so I guess we'll be using our cufflinks. So we'll be measuring this way. So the cufflinks will hold it this way. So measuring using 10 inches, I guess 10 inches is quite too much for that smartness we need. So let's look at 9.5. Okay, 9.5 is very much okay. So because when we have our cufflinks here, then it will be very smart here. So we are going for 9.5 inches. Then lastly, and not least, the neckline now. So measuring your neckline on your caftan shirt is very, very important. You know, like me, I don't know any other person, but when walking into people outside, walking into them and, you know, looking at their shirt, their caftan shirt, the very first thing I used to, you know, to see or look at is the neckline. Just subconsciously, I have to look at the neckline, how it is being cut and sewn. So if you have too wide neckline, definitely that has spoiled the whole project. Even if you have the best cutting, the best fitting, once the neckline is too big, then it has spoiled the whole project. And now if you have too small neckline, of course, you need to widen it, because it won't be convenient, you know, it will be choking for the client. So now that's why we need to measure our neckline. There is no guessing game here. Let's measure like this. Measuring the neckline is just the circumference of the neckline, right at the base of the neck. We are not measuring our neckline here, because it is not some turtleneck or something. It's not a collar caftan. It is a pipe neckline or a round neckline caftan. So we're measuring at the base of the neck. So even with that, 16, I'm not sure 16 will be enough for him, because the neckline needs to relax on the neck itself. So I need to give it something around 16.5. So this space will be enough. So to avoid choking, and so that the neckline will be able to relax on the client's neck, like the neckline of the project will be able to relax on the client's neck. So I will need to use 16.5 here. Using 17 or 17.5 is getting too wide, and as such, that's spoiling our old project. Using something around 15.5 is too tight, and it will choke or inconvenience the client. So that is that about that. We'll be using 16.5 for our neckline. So with this, you know, these outlined steps of taking your measurement for your caftan shirt, I assure you, when you follow these guidelines, these procedures, like in total, then you'll be getting the best fitting you need for your caftan shirt. So watch out for me. I'll be dropping the next video on how to measure for your caftan pants, you know, in the video below. But just let's check this. Do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can help me like the videos. Click on where after you have subscribed, click on the bell button, so when next I post a new video, so you can always check out for me. Thanks for staying by. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.